Hey, how are you? I'm going to read from Wild at Heart by John Eldredge. I'm on page 93, Taking It to E. Remember the story of my first kiss, that little darling I fell in love with in the 7th grade, and how she made my bicycle fly? I fell in love with Debbie the very same year my father checked out my story. The year I took my deepest wound. The timing was no coincidence. In a young boy's development, there comes a crucial time when the father must intervene. It arrives early in adolescence, somewhere between the ages of 11 and 15, depending on the boy. If that intervention does not happen, the boy is set up for disaster. The next window that opens is his soul, his sexuality. Debbie made me feel like $1,000,000. I couldn't have put words to it at the time. I had no idea what was really going on. But in my heart, I felt I had found the answer to my question. A pretty girl thinks I'm the greatest. What more can a guy ask for? If I found Juliet, then I must be Romeo. When she broke up with me, it began what has been a long and sad story of searching for the woman that will make me feel like a man. I went from girlfriend to girlfriend trying to get an answer, to be the hero to the beauty that has been longing, my image of what it means to really finally be a man. Bly calls it the search for the golden-haired woman. He sees a woman across the room, knows immediately that it is she. He drops the relationship he has, pursues her, feels wild excitement, passion, beating heart, obsession. After a few months, everything collapses. She becomes an ordinary woman. He is confused and puzzled. Then he sees once more a radiant face across the room, and the old certainty comes again. Iron John. Why is pornography the most addictive thing in the universe for men? Certainly, there's the fact that a man is visually wired, that pictures and images arouse men much more than they do women. But the deeper reason is because that seductive beauty reaches down inside and touches your desperate hunger for validation as a man you didn't even know you had. Touches it like nothing else most men have ever experienced. You must understand. This is deeper than legs and breasts and good sex. It is mythological. Look at the lengths men will go to find the golden-haired woman. They have fought duels over her beauty. They have fought wars. You see, every man remembers Eve. We are haunted by her. And somehow we believe that if we could find her, get her back, then we'd also recover with her our own lost masculinity. You recall the little boy Philip from the movie A Perfect World. Remember what his fear was? That his penis was puny. That's how many men articulate a sense of emasculation. Later in life, a man's worst fear is often impotence. If he can't get an erection, then he hasn't got what it takes. But the opposite is also at work. If a man can feel an erection, well, then he feels powerful. He feels strong. I'm telling you, for many men, the question feels hardwired to the penis. If he can feel like the hero sexually, well then, mister, he's the hero. Pornography is so seductive because what is a wounded, famished man to think when there are literally hundreds of beauties willing to give themselves to him? Of course, it's not just him, but when he's alone with the photos, it feels like it's just for him. It's unbelievable. How many movies center around this lie? Get the beauty, win her, bed her, and you are the man. You're James Bond. You're a stud. Look carefully at the lyrics to Bruce Springsteen's song Secret Garden from his greatest hits recording 1995. This was earlier in the book too. That's interesting that he puts it twice. She'll let you in her house if you come knocking late at night. She'll let you in her mouth if the words you say are right. If you pay the price. she'll let you deep inside. But there's a secret garden she hides. She'll lead you down a path. There'll be tenderness in the air. She'll let you come just far enough so you know she's really there. She'll look at you and smile, and her eyes will say, she's got a secret garden where everything you want, where everything you need will always stay a million miles away. It's a deep lie wedded to a deep truth. Eve is a garden of delight. Song 416. Song of Solomon 416. But she's not everything you want, everything you need, not even close. Of course it will stay a million miles away. You can't get there from here because it's not there. It's not there. The answer to your question can never ever be found there. Don't get me wrong. A woman is a captivated thing, more captivating than anything else in all creation. The naked woman's body is a portion of eternity too great for the eye of man. Femininity can arouse masculinity. Boy, oh boy, can it. My wife flashes me a little breast, a little thigh, and I'm ready for action. All systems alert. She tells me in a soft voice that I'm a man and I'll leap tall buildings for her. But femininity can never bestow masculinity. It's like asking a pearl to give you a buffalo. It's like asking a field of wildflowers to give you a 57 Chevy. They are different substances. When a man takes this question to the woman, what happens is either addiction or emasculation. Usually both. Dave, whose father blew a hole in his chest when he called him Mama's boy, took his question to the woman. Recently he confessed to me that younger women are his obsession. You can see why. They're less of a threat. A younger woman isn't half the challenge. He can feel more like a man there. Dave's embarrassed by his obsession, but it doesn't stop him. A younger woman feels like the answer to his question, and he's got to get an answer, but he knows his search is impossible. He admitted to me just the other day, even if I marry a beautiful woman, I will always know there is even more beautiful women out there somewhere. So I wonder, could I have won her? It's a lie. How often I have seen this. A friend's brother hits rock bottom a few years back when his girlfriend broke up with him. He was a really successful guy, a high school star athlete who became a promising young attorney, but he was carrying a wound from an alcoholic, workaholic father who never gave him what every boy craves. Like so many of us, he took his heart and his question to the woman. When she dumped him, my friend said it blew his brother out of the water. He went into a major nosedive, started drinking heavily, smoking. He even left the country. His life was shattered. This is why so many men secretly fear their wives. She sees him as no one else does, sleeps with him, knows what he's made of. If he has given her the power to validate him as a man, then he has also given her the power to invalidate him too. That's the deadly catch. A pastor told me that for years he's been trying to please his wife and she keeps giving him an F. What if she is not the report card on you? I suggested, she sure feels like it and I'm failing. Another man, Richard, became verbally abusive toward his wife in the early years of their marriage. His vision for his life was that he meant to be Romeo and therefore she must be Juliet. When she turned out not to be the golden-haired woman, he was furious, because that meant, you see, that he was not the heroic man. I remember seeing a picture of Julia Roberts without costume and makeup. Oh, I realized she's an ordinary woman. He was coming to me for his validation. A young woman told me about the man she was dating or had been dating. She was drawn to him at first and certainly drawn to the way he was taken with her. That's why I broke up with him. I was amazed at her perceptiveness and her courage. It's very rare to find, especially in younger women, how wonderful it feels at first to be his obsession. To be thought of as a goddess is pretty heady stuff. But eventually, it all turns from romance to immense pressure on her part. He kept saying, I don't know if I have what it takes, and you're telling me I don't. He'll thank me for it someday. Men who struggle with same-sex attraction are actually more clear on this point. They know that what is missing in their heart is masculine love. The problem is that they've sexualized it. Joseph Nicolasi says that homosexuality is an attempt to repair the wound by filling it with masculinity, either the masculine love they never received or the masculine strength many men feel they do not possess. When the search becomes entangled with sexual issues, it also becomes a hopeless search, and that is why the overwhelming number of homosexual relationships do not last. Why so many gay men move from one man to another, and why so many of them suffer from depression and a host of other addictions. What they need can't be found there. It doesn't bring the healing of the wound. Why have I said all this about our search for validation and the answer to our question? Because we cannot hear the real answer until we see we've got a false one. So long as we chase the illusion, how can we face reality? The hunger is there. It lives in our souls like a famished craving. No matter what we've tried to fill it with, if you take your question to Eve, it will break your heart. I know this now after many, many hard years. You can't get your answer there. In fact, you can't get your answer from any of the things men chase after to find their sense of self. There is only one source for the answer to your question. And so no matter where you've taken your question, you've got to take it back. You have to walk away. That is the beginning of your journey. That is Wild at Heart. That was page 93 to 98. And I guess that's chapter 5. Alright, taking it to you. See ya.